In the loneliest of days, something whispers, you are not alone. And that is the magic this world holds. Sweet nuggets seem few and far between the dark suns of today. They're small enough to miss, but big enough to wisp the love on the other side. So, I'll be love for as long as I try. Welcome to the Sweet Madness Podcast, everyone, where we talk about everything sweet, everything mad, and everything in between. And that poem tidbit for today had two poems. They were both from Poems of Madness Volume 1, the latest poetry publication I have in my list of publications. You can go on amandamontoni.com to get your copy, or Amazon if you prefer. All right, so today is the last episode of Season 3. Oh no, cue sad sighs and boos and sadness sounds that you hear on old comedy sitcoms from the 90s. So today, since it is the last episode, it will be a Q&A episode. It is a Q&A episode. And so I'm just going to get right down to it and go through these questions. You guys submitted some questions. Some were from friends, and other ones I've had kind of sitting from submissions for a little bit, so I'm excited to answer them this time. Okay. Question number 1. What is the happiest moment you had recording the podcast? Oh my gosh. I'd probably say the last episode of Season 2 was the live recorded episode at Humble Cafe in Wilson Park. Just an all-around great couple of hours, being there for you guys and having loved ones with me, and the staff at Humble Cafe is just completely amazing and welcoming. And, the happiest moment would probably be when I ended that episode, because I just felt such a sense of, oh my gosh, I did it, and relief, but not like a relief like, oh, thank gosh, it's over, but more of like, I just did that. And I was stressing about it, the good kind of stress that I've talked about in the past. And I was just so excited to do it and be there, and nervous and in my head the whole time. So just having that experience was probably the happiest moment I've had recording the episode, right when it ended, and hugging my parents. And it was just a good smiley time. Question number 2, let's go. If you could interview anyone in the world on the Sweet Madness podcast, who would it be? Oh, wow. I'm laughing because it's, the teenage me really wanting to do this, and teenage me having a dream of being like a talk show host kind of, and it's a certain group that you've heard me talk about before, the Jonas Brothers. I would love to have the Jonas Brothers on here and interview them, but that's my teenage self coming out, me, the fangirl in me. Which never really left with them. I guess if I could interview anyone in the world now, like apart from the Jonas Brothers, honestly, I think it would probably be Greta Gerwig. I'm just a big fan of her work, and I'm really curious to know her directing process. And hearing her speak about her movies, especially Barbie, because that is just, the Barbie movie is like genius, the way it was directed, in my opinion. And I would love to just tap into her brain and hear from her what was going on, and because there are a lot of undertones and a lot of concepts that were touched upon, and it was just, I look at it as just really just a beautiful work of art. Thank you, Greta. Okay. Number 3, what's your relationship with the word no? I need a more familiar relationship with it. My relationship with yes is certainly thriving, maybe a little too much. Okay, I feel this one immensely. There's just everything's flooding in my body like, oh, yes, 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 I totally understand this. The word no has... The word no has been an interesting relationship with me. I find myself to be very much, or used to be, a big people pleaser. I feel obligated to say yes a lot in certain instances, not to let anybody down, feeling trapped. But my relationship with it is definitely love-hate. It's definitely a love-hate relationship. As we know, no is a complete sentence, and really what it comes down to is really understanding my boundaries. And I've only recently, in the last few years, have come to discover what those boundaries are. An example that I have, I felt like I had to do every single show I was asked to direct or choreograph. I felt like I had to say yes to every single dance class that I was offered to teach. And it really, really just completely burned me out because I didn't know those boundaries. The word no should not be given lightly, I don't think. Neither should the word yes. Yes, I think you should definitely say yes to things that you're afraid of. But no, I think you should really get a grip on what your capacity is in your life at the moment. And it comes down also to your values, not only your capacity, not only your boundaries, but your values. Like if it's in terms of relationships, I think that the first step to really having a healthy relationship with the word no is to evaluate what you say yes to. I think that is a big, big, big thing that definitely has to be addressed and take time. It's going to take time to come to what your boundaries actually are. It's going to take time to get there. My relationship with the word no has definitely become healthier because I've noticed how much I used to say yes to. And if it's not fulfilling me or nourishing me, either energetically or physically or mentally or emotionally, then it's a no. I listen to my gut now. I used to not listen to my gut. I used to feel forced into this box whenever I was asked a question to do something, and I still am figuring out where that sense of obligation is coming from. Probably something in childhood, but I have yet to still figure that out specifically. But I really, really, really have taken the time the last couple of years to interpret my gut, because the wake-up call I had was not pretty, and it was a time in my life where I really, really, really just was physically, emotionally, and mentally just not able to do anything. I pushed myself too hard. So start noticing. And it doesn't have to be a big thing to notice. It could be small things. It doesn't have to be big. It doesn't have to be a big step. It can be a small step. And it's going to take time. Okay. That was my relationship with the word no. I could have said no to answering that question, but I decided to go with it because I'm a go with the flow person. Yay. Okay. There's also like the balance of, the balance of trying new things and going with the flow and taking the chance and actually pushing yourself to do it. But there's also the other side to it where you have to be able to also not be so rigid. So it's finding those particular instances, if it's a yes or a no, it's a case-by-case basis. It's not a blanket thing that you can kind of do, because then that will just constrict you into black and white thinking, and that black and white thinking will actually make you feel more forced into a box. And it will not actually serve your life. It will actually deplete it. So that's what I have to say. Number 4, who is your least favorite poet and why? That is a very hard question. I don't know if I have a least favorite poet. I have my favorite poets, and then I have poets that like either I've never really studied or, I never really just have read. I mean, there are a million poets out there. So I can't really answer this question the way that you want it to be answered. I apologize. But out of my poets that I read, I don't really have a least favorite. The thing is, I look at poetry as more of a art in itself and separate it from the poet in some ways, like in this concept of poetry. I don't really look at it as the poet is writing this. I look at the poetry is being written, not by a whom, but by something greater than itself. So whichever way it comes out is the way that it comes out. And that's what makes it so beautiful. There's no form. There's no specific, form for it. Yes, there are forms for types of poems, but I mean, in the sense that a poem can be anything you want it to be. Gertrude Stein has a poem about lettuce, and the way that it's written is just, some people really like it, some people don't like it, but I don't either like it or not like it. I kind of just see it as this thing and its own entity. That's my thoughts on that question. Poetry is its own entity and its own branch of creativity, and I try to separate it from the writer because it comes out whichever way it's going to come out. It's one of those creative things that sort of take over, and the writer is surrendering to the poetry. And not all the time, but as a concept, like individually, yes, the poet does have control on writing the poems and all of that, but as a concept, I think of it as its own thing. So I don't really favor or not favor. I look at it as art, and I really do try to respect art as much as possible. So that's my thoughts. This one is a good one. Oh my gosh. Number 5, what song from your childhood shaped you as a person? Wow. This is a first date question that I have to start asking on first dates. You can tell a lot about a person from this question, which is why I feel so much pressure to answer it right now. Which song from your childhood shaped you as a person? Oh my gosh, shaped me. I know what album sort of shaped my trajectory into the kind of music I like. That would be the soundtrack to the Josie and the Pussycats live action movie. I wrote a whole blog post about it. It was my introduction into alternative pop punk or pop rock music. Or punk rock music, and it's just great. But a song that shaped me as a person, you know what? I'm gonna go with the Jonas Brothers, Just Friends. I was obsessed with that song as a teenager, and I believe I was in 8th grade, so I was probably 12 or 13. I was 12 or 13 years old, and it's a song about someone liking their friend. And I think that really shaped my personality when it has to do with romance and the future that I wanted for myself. And yeah, so yes. So I think it really shaped the kind of life or the kind of love I wanted in my life, because now here I am in my 30s trying to date, trying to, find someone to share my life with on that sort of intimate and romantic level. I don't want the whirlwind romance. I want a best friend as a partner. I want a partner. And who doesn't want a friend as a partner? How does that work? It doesn't work. Having a friend as a partner is the way to go. I mean, I'm not saying like find a friend and then try to start something with them. Absolutely not. Like, there's a way you can tell like you guys are friends when you meet each other. And it's not all just about, romance and hooking up and all of that stuff. Like, that's empty to me. Hooking up is empty. I'm talking from experience. I've always wanted someone that I could share something with like a friend and talk to like a friend and just be my complete goofy, mad self with. And I use mad as the word crazy. Sometimes I'm a little crazy, but we all are, right? So I think that's a song that definitely shaped who I am as a person, because I just keep going back to that as an adult and an adult in the rough dating scene today. Number 6, what is the relationship for you between craft and catharsis? That is a very good question. Craft and catharsis, relationship between craft and catharsis. So I definitely think that all things can be craft. I mean, they're human made. That's something that we have done as humans. We craft things, right? We make tables out of wood. Carpenters. That is a beautiful, beautiful craft to learn. And I say craft interchangeably with art. Humans thrive on art and expression. And that's where the catharsis comes in. But I think catharsis more specifically comes in with craft when I am in a certain state. So I think that every little thing that is done, whether it is making a sandwich, culinary arts, making, spreadsheets, that is beautiful. Spreadsheets are amazing. If you work in administration and you're making spreadsheets, Google Sheets, and you're very organized, that is amazing. A lot of people, in my experience working in the theater sector, don't really have that organizational backbone if they're a creative. So that's a creative in their own right. I mean, you can play with colors, you can make it whatever way you want it to. I think catharsis is sort of separate from it. It depends upon the state that I'm in. And if I'm writing a poem, I could be writing a poem to write a poem for something. And yes, there is a possibility that I could feel catharsis from writing that poem for someone, because it could end up helping me in a way that I didn't expect. And something that I didn't realize I need to hear. Like, most of the time when I'm here recording these episodes for the Sweet Madness podcast and I have guests on, I don't know which way the conversations are going to go. I have 2 questions for my guests, and the conversation can go any single way. But what ends up happening is that I'm learning something, or a guest is saying something that I didn't know I needed to hear because it made me feel. And then there's this sense of catharsis afterward, because it's sort of like kind of being in a therapy session where you have things that you notice that you didn't notice before, and you're present, conversating with someone, and how their story relates to you, and there could be something emotionally or something out of my control happening in life that I did not know how to process or did not know how to let go. And because of this conversation, it's let go, and I feel that sense of exhale. Catharsis. As a concept, craft and catharsis are specified. And I also think for me, my relationship with craft and catharsis is specified depending on what I'm doing. Most of the time, if I'm creating for creative sake, it does, craft and catharsis do intertwine, and they join together. But in other instances, like if I'm creating a flyer for something, if I'm creating graphics for, the Sweet Madness podcast or Instagram stories or Instagram posts and stuff like that, ads for my copywriting clients, like that is a craft, but I'm not feeling catharsis because it's something on my to-do list. I do appreciate it, but I'm not feeling that hit of catharsis. So there's my take. Number 7, this is the last one, and it's a good one. Lucky number 7. If you could remove one song from one musical, what would it be and why? I immediately know the answer to this question. Telephone Hour from Bye Bye Birdie. And I used to love it. The first time I heard it, I loved it. It was silly. I also used to like Bye Bye Birdie for a short time, and then I was in the musical. I would remove that song from the musical because of the wonderful things he does. Nope, that is from The Wizard of Oz. Because I have heard it nonstop since I have first discovered it. Not only from being in the musical, but the year that I was in the musical, I sang it in chorus. Musical and chorus weren't run by the same person in high school. So that was really annoying. And like, it's one of those songs that get stuck in your head. Kind of like It's a Small World, and it just keeps going. And but with the Telephone Hour, the recordings, you have these teenagery voices, and Harvey is just great. His voice is cracking. It's so endearing. But then you have the girls like, "Hi, Nancy," and I'm just like, oh my gosh, stop with the nasal, please. And so it just kept coming back and coming back and coming back and coming back, and I'm just like, go away, please. And that's why I would remove that song from Bye Bye Birdie. I'm not really sure. I mean, I have strayed away from Bye Bye Birdie for a long time because I just couldn't. But I'm trying to right now, like I'm trying to see and recall what the significance is of it. Is it to establish the girls calling each other all the time so that when Conrad Birdie, goes into the army, all the girls of the Conrad Birdie Sweet Apple branch of the fan club are calling each other to talk about this news. Like, is that it? Is that it? Is it really needed? Is it really needed? That's my question as a musical fan, a director, a choreographer, and a writer. That is my question. Is Telephone Hour really needed in Bye Bye Birdie? Does it drive the plot forward? What is it for? Is it just for fun? Is it so someone can have a costume change? I mean, that could happen. Does Kim need to change her costume? Is it for a set change? But it's a big set number usually. So I don't know. I have never seen Bye Bye Birdie on Broadway. I've never seen it in a professional way. I did it in high school, and then I've seen one community theater production of it. I've seen the movie. I still don't know what the significance of it is in the movie. Like, if you could tell me how it relates to the plot, please let me know. Please DM me at Amanda.Montoni on Instagram, because I just don't know. I just don't know. That would be great if someone could enlighten me on that, because these are the kinds of questions that my director and musical theater brain ask. Like, this is what comes up. So telephone hour. And now probably, I really hope that it doesn't come back to haunt me in more ways. Okay. And that's it for our Q&A episode. Thank you guys. Thank you guys for submitting your questions. And I have a big announcement. Woo! The new merch that will be premiering right now, today. When this episode airs, go to amandamontoni.com and get your new Sweetheart Dad hat. Yes, I said it, the Sweetheart Dad hat. It is gray denim. It has just the Sweet Madness heart on it, the logo. It is really, really cute. I've been wearing it for myself for like a year or change, and I get compliments on it all the time. And I figured now is the time to release it. But it is getting cold outside. So if you do not want a dad hat, you can get the Sweet Madness beanie. It has the heart, but it also has Sweet Madness just written on it. And one of my friends has it, and he rocks it, and it's just such a cool feeling to see you guys just wearing the merch and sending me pictures. So please, if you get any merch, tag me on Instagram that you're wearing the merch or have the merch. I love that. There'll probably be a contest out soon. I usually do a free merch contest every single year, so watch out for that. I had one earlier this year, I think in like February, maybe March. I can't remember. I have to go back and look at my Instagram. I am the only person here on the Sweet Madness admin team here. Besides my editor, I am making the reels. I am making the posts. I am maintaining the website. I am the one doing all of the copy for sales. I am doing all of that stuff. I'm coming up with the strategy. So please bear with me. It is a one-person show right now, and hopefully in the future it will not be. So get excited for the Sweetheart Dad hat. I love it. I don't have it with me today, but there'll be Instagram things about it soon. Follow at amanda.montoni or follow the Sweet Madness brand at full.of.sweet.madness. At full.of.sweet.madness. The logo, it's a heart. It's like a red heart on a white background. That is the profile picture. And I cannot wait for another season of the Sweet Madness podcast. Thank you guys so much for listening. Thank you for being here. I hope I have been a hand for you to hold in any way. And I hope you've learned some things from our guests. I know I have. And if you would like a personalized poem, just head over to amandamontoni.com. There's a tab specifically for it. Fill out the form. Remember, your story sticks with me. And don't forget to sign up for the Sweet Madness newsletter. It'll be my tie here to you guys until the next season comes out. Every Friday, I drop in your inbox and I flood you with happenings, words of encouragement, anything sweet and mad. Sometimes there are challenges for you guys as well to try new things throughout the day and also to say no and yes to certain things in your life and things that come your way. I didn't mean that to rhyme, but it did. Have a great, 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 great day, and I'll see you next season. Bye-bye.